Women Up Radio, designed to facilitate women's empowerment, improve your career, develop your talents, incorporate your passions, achieve fulfillment and success.
Hello, this is Women Up Radio, supporting Empower Women. And today we're talking about how women-only social platforms can advance your career as well as enhancing your social life. I'm joined in the studio by my guest, Pamela Newnham, who's the co-founder and co-CEO of Girl Crew. Girl Crew is a social networking app for women to help make new friends and also to advance your career, which is great. Prior to Girl Crew, Pamela was a business journalist with the Irish Times, and I'm Irish too, so it's great to have Irish people. She specialised in technology, startups, entrepreneurship and business. So welcome to the programme, Pamela.
Thank you for having me on. It's great to be here.
So can I jump right in and just say I love that you're a business journalist, and particularly in the field of tech, startups and entrepreneurship, and then the fact that you've gone on to really putting your money where your mouth is and creating a tech invention yourself. I think that's absolutely amazing. So can you tell us a bit more about your background in journalism and your interest in tech and business? How did you start and why the particular focus on these topics?
Yes, well, I studied law at university, and then I began my career as a news reporter, but covering a lot of legal cases. I was down the courts most of the time.
Yeah.
It got very depressing after a while. There's never really any positive stories in the courts. And so I decided I needed to get into a more positive area.
Yeah.
So I convinced them to let me move into business reporting. And I was terrified that they were going to make me write about the global financial crisis, Lehman Brothers, all this kind of stuff. That was all happening.
Yeah.
So I decided to carve out a niche for myself in technology because I thought that would be more positive to write startups, innovation, entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And interviewing entrepreneurs every day made me realize I wanted to do that.
Great.
I thought they had like a great life. They were their own boss. They could do their own thing. They got to have lots of adventures. And I felt like I knew a lot of stuff as well because I'd interviewed so many entrepreneurs. I'd learned from their mistakes and I knew the best way to go about things. So Girl Crew was the perfect opportunity for me to do that.
That's wonderful. So how did you think about Girl Crew? I mean, what focused you on that? I know networks are really important, but we'll come on to that in a minute. But what sparked you with Girl Crew?
Well, I was always very entrepreneurial when I was younger. I had a lot of businesses myself as a child. And even in university, I set up Ireland's first student television station.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
it's still running to this day.
Oh,
yeah.
Well
I
done.
even had like a little magazine to go with the TV station that said, the programming on that week. And I used to distribute that magazine around campus as well.
Oh my God, amazing.
But when I was a journalist and I really wanted to get back into business, I could not think of any ideas. I kept trying to think of lots of business ideas, and I would go to various people and I'd tell them, like very successful entrepreneurs, I'd tell them about my business ideas, and they always told me that they were awful, that they would never work. And then eventually I met someone and they told me, Pamela, you don't need to come up with the idea. You just find someone else who has an idea and you can help them execute that idea. And I had met Elva at this surfing weekend away for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So there was a big conference in Ireland called the Web Summit.
Yes.
And as part of the Web Summit, they had this like surfing weekend away for entrepreneurs and like venture capitalists, investors, all this kind of stuff. Lots of different people in the business world. And we were both on that weekend away and we met at that, and she was telling me all about Girl Crew. So I contacted her after. And I said, did she fancy having a co-founder?
Yeah.
And that I felt I could help her turn it into a business and help scale it up globally. And so she was very excited by that thought and said, definitely.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's
and
brilliant.
so we worked on it, and we had a third co-founder as well, that there was another girl helping her out, and should we ask her to be a co-founder as well?
Yeah.
And that girl had a lot of marketing experience, and her name was Anya. So I said yes, and we asked Anya, and Anya said yes. And so the three of us all kept our full-time jobs, but we worked on Girl Crew on the side until we were in a position where we could leave our full-time jobs.
Oh, that's excellent. That is really, really interesting. It's very inspirational because so many people don't really know how or what or why. So it's great to hear something like that and how you got together and started it and, you know, everyone pulling together. So moving on to Girl Crew. Girl Crew is about networks, about helping each other, social networks, doing things together, advancing careers, etc. So can I just start by asking, why are networks so important, do you feel? And what are the benefits that we can gain from having a good network?
I think networking helps build contacts and provides you with opportunities you mightn't have already had. For example, if I hadn't networked with Elva on that surfing weekend away, I would never be a part of Girl Crew right now.
Yes.
It's really important for doing everything from meeting new investors to getting potential business partners, to getting sales, customers, hiring.
Yeah.
At Girl Crew, we say you can never have too many friends. And I really think the same goes for professional contacts as well.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. So that's another thing. Girl Crew offers both personal and professional connections and advantages. So it's not only about making friends, but also about actively enhancing your career and building business networks. So how did it start? I mean, you've told me how you got together with your co-founders, but how did you then start the app and the network, and how does it all work?
Well, we didn't initially have the technical knowledge or the money to build our own app. So we actually started it on Facebook groups, and we had Facebook groups all over the world. We had city Facebook groups and then topic Facebook groups such as careers, entrepreneurship, bloggers. And then when we were in a position where we did have money coming in and that we were big enough to attract investors, that's when we created our own app. So now the app is a free app. Yeah. Anyone can download it, but it's aimed at women. So when a member signs up, they have to verify account to ensure that they are a woman and that no men or catfish or trolls are trying to join to cause trouble. Yeah. And then they're in. And unlike platforms like Facebook, where you post as an individual to a personal wall or stream, on Girl Crew, all the posts are within groups. So you can't post on your own wall. You can only post in groups.
Oh, right.
So it's all about us as individuals within the community. So you could post in, for example, the careers group saying, hey, I need to get a pay rise and I'm not sure the best way to go about this. How should I approach my boss and tell them I'm worthy of it? And then they can see the answers coming in from around the world. So one person in London might say, this is the best way to do it. Someone else in Melbourne might say something else. Someone in New York might say something else. Someone in Toronto might say something else, but they get a kind of array of answers. Oh. So we have a group for careers where you can get lots of advice on your careers or tips, support, recommendations. We have another group for entrepreneurs, another group for bloggers. So there are kind of main businessy groups on the app. And then we would have various kind of events as well to help people with their career.
Yes.
So our favorite event is called Girl Crew Pro.
Yeah.
So our tagline for that is land your dream job, advance your career, start a business. And we've had some brilliant speakers come along to that. Like we have the head of Google in Ireland, Fionnuala Meehan, and we had the head of Microsoft in Ireland, Trina
Really?
Hallahan. Yeah, so we've had some pretty big speakers come along. And we always have, our rule for it is that everyone has to give an honest account of their career. So they must tell the really difficult times as well and the mistakes that they made.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's really interesting for people. Like we've had various HR people come from companies and say about the worst CVs they ever got or the worst interviews, you know, which is, it really helps people learn.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And so members have actually secured jobs at that event and gained pay rises. Yeah. Or like started business just from that event. So that's really exciting. And then we have a female founders supper club too.
Yeah.
And that we use, because we think it's really important for like female entrepreneurs to all meet up with each other and like bounce around ideas.
I'd love that. I mean, it's obviously you're going to tell us more about it, but I think the sound of that is fabulous, because it really is a mixture of friendship, relaxation, enjoyment, but also doing something positive and productive for your career and for your business. But tell me more, because I'm jumping the gun there. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Well, do you know what? It saves us loads of money, because we'll go to those events and talk to other female entrepreneurs and ask them, oh, how much are you paying for your accountant? Or how much are you paying for your lawyers?
Yeah.
And then if we find someone with a really good deal, we'll go, oh, we're going to go to that accountancy firm, or we're going to go to that law firm.
Yeah.
And they understand the same pain, because like every October, the end of October, when we have to do our like tax returns, that is like such a nightmare time that no regular professional gets, because their employer deducts their tax every month from their monthly pay slip.
Yeah.
And they don't really think about tax. But as someone running a business, like when you have to do your end of year tax return, it's such a stressful time, and you're trying to get all your receipts together and everything.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have other people who can feel that pain with you.
Definitely. And sympathize. I hate administration and I hate Excel sheets. So what would you say for networks? What's the best way to build a network? And are there different types that we can develop for specific situations?
Yeah, I think the best way to build your network is to go to various events, be they networking events for entrepreneurs or professionals. Events that are like dinner events, which are often ticketed, they're better because you would talk to people a lot longer, like you'd be sitting next to them for the whole dinner.
Yes.
Whereas events that are literally just kind of drinks can be quite hard and intimidating. Yeah. And I do a lot of networking, and I even find it hard when you arrive and you see it looks like everyone already knows each other kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And you see all these groups of 2 and 3 around the room, and you're like, oh God, like how am I going to kind of sidle up here and try join a group to join the conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And so it is hard. But
what about breakfasts? Because that's something, some countries I've lived in, breakfast events have been, it seems to be very popular. And others, they like to do just the sort of meeting for a coffee and saying who you are and then disappear, which I always hate. The breakfast ones I found quite good, but I'm an early person, so for me it's easy. Do you think that they can be as good as the dinners and the suppers, or are the suppers more productive?
No, I don't think they can be. And the reason is because everyone always has to leave to go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how good the conversation is or how well you're getting on with someone, or if you're definitely like, you've met someone who could be an amazing business partner, they have to leave and go to work.
So everyone's watching the clock.
At those breakfast events, everyone's watching the clock, and like bang on 8:30, everyone's gone because they have to go to work.
Yep.
Whereas at the dinner events, you know, I've been at several that have gone on really late because we've developed really good contact and just ended up chatting for hours.
That sounds great.
You are listening to Anna Letitia Cook at Women Up Radio.
So for the Female Founders Supper Club, is that present in a lot of places? And how would people go about, or how would women go about setting something like this up in their own area?
No, so it isn't present in a lot of places, but we would love if other people ran it as well. And it's very easy because they can just post on the Girl Crew app in their city or create an event in their city saying, hey, would anyone, and it can be very easy because you could just say, would anyone be interested in going for dinner here if you're a female entrepreneur?
Oh, really?
And then just choosing a date and time, and everyone can just pay for themselves. At the ones we do in Dublin now, we have sponsors, so it's free, we have it covered. But in other cities, it's like you can have paid ones. People are happy to pay for themselves and just to all go for dinner somewhere, and you can find like cheap and cheerful places.
Yep.
Like I found places in San Francisco that do pizza and beer for under $10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and every city has places like that. Yeah. So even if you're a poor startup founder, you can definitely kind of go somewhere and meet other female entrepreneurs and all chat about business.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds good. So what do you think are the biggest challenges for women when they're really trying to set things up, not just networking, but progressing from networking onto the entrepreneurial side of it? Because the first stage, I think, is having a network, then going on to creating your business, and then coming back to the network again, because the network can help you at so many different levels. But how do you think we can overcome some of the challenges of moving into entrepreneurship?
I think have a bit more belief in yourself. I come across so many women who have a lot of self-doubt. There's a huge thing I see everywhere called imposter syndrome, where like women feel like an imposter and that they're in their own job, and they like feel like that they shouldn't be doing it, even though they're brilliant at it. They still feel, that they're not maybe doing it as well. So I think they should have more belief in themselves, and just, as the Nike logo says, just do it.
Very true. Yes.
Stop thinking and overanalyzing everything and just do it.
Yeah. Great idea. Really. Right. So, okay. And so what do you think with Girl Crew, where is it going to go, and how can people become part of it? I mean, is it as easy as downloading the app?
Yes, it's totally as easy as that. You can go to the App Store if you have an iPhone, or go to the Google Play Store if you have an Android, download it, Girl Crew, all one word, free app, and then sign up. I would recommend signing in with Facebook, because then it's instant. You get in straight away and you can see everything.
Yeah.
You can also sign up with email, though, if you really don't want to sign in with Facebook. Yeah. But if you sign up with email, you're going to have to go through a verification process to prove that you're a woman. Okay. Whereas Facebook can tell us that.
Yep. Yeah.
And then what we also have is a desktop version. So you could, and it's identical to the app. They're all linked. Yes. So you could go to girlcrew.com on a computer and sign in there and see everything that's on the app there. Yeah. And we know that lots of people love having a sneaky tab open on their computer at work, just checking in.
I wonder why.
On everything every now and again.
Yeah. Brightens up the day. Yeah. And so does that then give you access to the sort of pro side of it? I mean, are the personal and the pro side of Girl Crew separate?
Yeah, when
are they joined?
Nope, you can see everything on the app. So you just have to go, you can see all the city groups. You would join the group for your city, whether you're in London or Liverpool or Manchester, or Glasgow or Birmingham, wherever you are, you just join the group for your city.
Yeah.
And then you can see all the various events happening in that city and all the posts. But then you also join other groups, be they careers or entrepreneurs, or there's even one called Staying In, which has like tips for what to watch on Netflix.
Yes. Oh, that's a good idea.
And the cinema and books and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And for the female founders supper club, is that part of Girl Crew, or is that just something that's developed from that? So would you use Girl Crew to create your own supper club? Yes, you would. Yeah.
Yeah. You just post in your city group and say, are there any other female entrepreneurs in your city, and would they be interested in meeting for a regular dinner?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And so how many different regions are you present in? Are you in several different countries now?
Yeah. So we're on 4 continents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you? Do tell.
We're in all the major cities in Australia, major cities in Canada, all major cities in the US, the UK, Ireland, Belgium, a little bit in Asia. Yeah, we're all over.
So,
if you travel, you can join Girl Crew in another city. So if you were going on holidays to New York or Vancouver, you could just join Girl Crew in that city and say, hey, I'm part of Girl Crew London, but I'm over in New York for a week. and then you can meet up with people there.
Oh, that's excellent. That is such a good idea. Really is. Oh, that's wonderful. And so how long has Girl Crew been running? When did you start?
It's been running 4 years, but we actually only launched the app last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we launched the app last summer, and we only recently launched the app in the US, but it's getting big here now, which is good.
Well, it's enormous. I mean, for you to be present in 4 continents, if the app was only launched a year ago and you're already in 4 continents.
It is exciting.
It's enormous. Oh my God, that's amazing. What really sounds
And we have a huge
wonderful.
waiting list. So many people wanted it in other cities. Like, we're getting requests every day to add other cities to the app.
Oh, that's excellent. That's absolutely brilliant. So, okay. So just to finish up, are there any other tips or strategies that you can give us that will help with networking and starting businesses, either linked to Girl Crew or just from your experience as a journalist and everything that you've been doing with people involved in startups and business? Anything that you can advise, any things that you think are absolutely fundamental that will really help us?
Yes, I have gone to a lot of networking events, and one thing I notice at nearly every event is that a lot of women are less confident about saying what they do than men.
Yeah.
So at various events, women I meet, they will just tell me my name. They'll be like, "Hi, I'm Sarah," or "I'm Laura."
Yeah.
Whereas the men will tell me their job title. They'll say, "Hi, I'm Joe, and I'm the CFO of such and such a company." Or "I'm Dave, and I'm the CEO of this company."
Yeah.
And if I could give any advice, it would be to say what you do. So I will always say I run a social network for women and to make new friends called Girl Crew every time I talk to someone at an event. And I think it makes it easier to build connections and get a conversation flowing. People can only ever help you if they know how, and they will need to know what you do.
Exactly.
For this to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, even just from the point of view of